summarising, paraphrasing, reframing, and language laundry. Aha. Words. Those sometimes pesky little things that can start wars, break hearts, or, if you're clever, end both. I'm Declan O'Lula, Neil's virtual assistant. Please call me Bebop. Today we're talking about how to clean, buff, and reframe your words until even the crankiest colleague sounds halfway to enlightenment. We're diving into the fine arts of summarising, paraphrasing, framing, reframing, and my personal favourite, language laundry. By the end, you'll know how to turn a flaming argument into a calm and useful chat, or at least one that doesn't explode. Before you can summarise or reframe anything, you've got to listen properly. Not the right kind you do when your partner's talking about bin collection schedules. I mean active listening, the sort that shows attention, empathy, and respect. These skills, summarising, paraphrasing, reframing, are an adjunct to active listening. They help you steer a tricky talk like a gondolier through the canals of chaos. So, step 1, zip it and listen. Summarising is simple to describe, but devilish to master. You take what the other person said, their words, their feelings, and pack it into fewer ones. It's like turning a spaghetti bolognese of emotion into a tidy meatball of meaning. The purpose? To prove you've been listening, to check accuracy, and to help everyone focus on the real issue. It even lets the other person hear themselves, and that can be powerful. But never move on until they say yes to your summary. That yes means you're both on the same page. Otherwise, you're summarising into the void. A good summary has 3 moves: selection, rejection, substitution. Pick the main ideas, bin the excess, rephrase just enough to sound natural. And listen for emotion. If someone says, "It's fine," through gritted teeth, don't repeat, "It's fine." Instead, you might say, "You sound disappointed," even though you're saying it's fine. Congratulations, you've just turned a volcano into a conversation. So, let's summarise how to summarise. Listen. Listen carefully for the key idea and supporting points. Listen. Listen to the emotional tone of the message and make it part of the summary. Use. Use the party's language choices whenever possible. Do not omit. Do not omit any topic brought up by a party and hope it will go away. Do not soften or dilute differences. Keep. Keep the summary concise. Do not drone. Solicit. Solicit feedback from the party or parties regarding the accuracy of the summary. This is called a feedback loop. And that is it summarized. Paraphrasing is summarizing's jazzy cousin. But here the mediator replays the information to the disputant using similar words and a similar phrase arrangement to that used by the disputant, but the mediator might change the order or structure of the sentence to emphasize or play down the specific word or context. You replay the same tune, but change the rhythm, same melody, new groove. You isolate the main issues and begin your sentence with, "You seem to be saying that," or "What I hear you saying is." That's the magic formula. It says, "I heard you," while gently polishing the words so everyone can think clearly. It's not so much about changing meaning, it's more about showing respect. But, and this is very important, so take note. It is crucial to use the disputant's own words for the most important elements. You're smoothing out the conversation, not rewriting it. Before the drama begins, comes framing. Framing sets the scene for the conversation you want to have. It tells the other person why you want to talk, what you hope to achieve, and how important the relationship is. Instead of "we need to talk," which is basically a social fire alarm, you could say, "I've been wanting to connect with you about something. Would now be a good time?" That small courtesy removes suspicion and defensiveness. Or try, "This is important because I want us and this project to succeed." You're setting tone and trust before the hard stuff begins. The Gortman Institute calls this a soft startup: begin nice, stay nice, end nice. I call it verbal insurance, a gentle opening that saves 1,000 apologies later. Now, what happens when your nice framing fails and the talk goes off the rails? Someone's angry, voices rise, and reason has left the building. That's your cue for reframing. Reframing is the superhero move of mediators. It means taking what's said and showing it from another angle, new frame, same picture. Change a person's perspective, and it changes the dynamic and their reading of the dispute. This allows them to consider other options for resolving that dispute. It's like going to an art gallery and studying a painting up close, then far away, then to the left, and so on. Each time you change perspective, you will learn something new and different about that painting, and this will shape your attitude towards that painting, and you might also find a deeper meaning, or just a different meaning, in that painting. William Uy nailed it. Instead of rejecting what your opponent says, accept it and transform it into the negotiation you want to have. That's reframing in a nutshell. It's how "you're impossible" becomes "you care deeply about how this is done." You're using their energy instead of fighting it, like conversational judo. There are a few styles. Broaden perspective, help them see the big picture. Narrow perspective, keep focus when they drift. And my favorite, focus on the solution. It's not you versus me, it's us versus the problem. That's the mindset shift that saves teams, friendships, and marriages alike. In one example, Neve, the HR officer, helped Connor see that his denied Christmas leave wasn't personal. It was about keeping everyone's shifts covered. She reframed, "I'm being treated unfairly," into "we're protecting the team." Another case, Aoife, a manager, spoke to Ella about lateness. Instead of scolding, she reframed it as leadership development. "You've got potential. Being punctual will help you reach it." Same topic, different energy. That's reframing, turning critique into encouragement. Essen Zaffer called it helping people look at conflict in a more hopeful way. Hope with better vocabulary, that's the dream. Next up, language laundry. You won't find it in the books, it's pure Neil. The art of scrubbing your words clean. When someone says, "he's useless," you don't echo it. You translate, "you're frustrated because he isn't meeting expectations." Same meaning, zero bloodshed. Language laundry lowers the temperature, keeps dignity intact, and saves chairs from being thrown. You're not censoring emotion, you're refining it. Turning verbal dynamite into dialogue. A good example, and a true story, in a divorce mediation, she says, "That unfaithful bastard will ride anything in a dress," and I said, "You're saying that your husband has commitment issues." And remember, language laundry isn't about sounding fancy. It's about making sure people actually hear what's being said, instead of shutting down and taking shelter from a verbal attack. Need a quick cheat sheet? Try these. You misinterpret everything becomes "we must be misunderstanding each other. Can you help me understand what you meant?" I'm fed up with your negativity becomes "I agree. Let's focus on finding a solution and move away from the negative." That's so petty becomes "that sounds irritating. What do you need to move forward?" Each one swaps blame for curiosity. And curiosity is the oxygen of good conversation. Now, reframing isn't foolproof. Do it too soon or too bluntly, and it feels manipulative. Timing and empathy matter. Sometimes the best reframe is no reframe, just silence and a cup of tea. But when it's done right, reframing builds bridges where barricades once stood. Even in the Amazon, true story, even though the dodgy picture is not, mediators showed that a logger and a tribal fisherman both wanted the same thing, a stable future. Different frames, shared hopes. That's the real magic. So let's recap. Listen first. Summarize to clarify. Paraphrase to polish. Frame to start right. Reframe to stay right. And when tempers flare and some juicy words start flying about, do a bit of language laundry. Words can hurt, but they can also heal. Ask yourself, am I trying to win or to understand? If it's the latter, you're on the right track. So that's how to win arguments without starting fights, or at least without ending friendships. I'm Bebop Olula, standing in for Neil, and I'll see you the next time. This video was produced, directed, and written by Neil Van Dockum, and he asserts copyright over its content.